Okay, hello, welcome to the help video for the Module 4, Topic A Quiz Review. Let's go ahead and get started right away. So the first thing that you see is question 1, the directions, just like usual. Make sure you clearly indicate your final answer. Some of you have had a hard time doing that, so that's very important because if it's hard to figure out your answer, you could lose points when you shouldn't. 1, which is the equation of a parabola that is concave down, so it opens downward, with a y-intercept of 10. Y-intercept of 10. Okay, so I'm actually going to work backwards here. The y-intercept of 10 means the last number, the constant, c, is 10. So I'm automatically going to eliminate A and B because they end with a 1 and not with a 10. So we're left with y equals negative x squared minus 4x plus 10 and x squared plus 4x plus 10. So when it says concave down, that means the leading coefficient, so I'll abbreviate LC, is negative. So that's what I'm looking for, and that means C, because there's a negative. Think of this almost like a negative 1, and this is a positive 1 in front of the first term. Okay? All right, on to question 2. Explain what A and C determine or represent graphically for a quadratic function written in standard form. So here is your quadratic function in standard form. F of x equals A of x plus B of x plus C. So we want to know what A is. Actually, let me highlight here. So A, I'll highlight that in red, and C, I'll highlight that in blue. And then I'm going to type in red for A. So A, an arrow, determines if the parabola opens / concave up, and that's if it's positive, or opens / concave, remember that word, concave or concavity, down, and that's if it's negative. Oops. Should go down to the next line. Also, this is something we didn't really talk about, but also how wide the parabola is. And we'll see that coming up in some other investigation of quadratic functions or quadratic graphs. Oh, shoot. I'm going back to red here. Okay. Now I need blue for C. C is the y-intercept, or sometimes it is the initial / starting value. Now, the big idea here is it's the y-intercept. Okay, so, okay, 3. A science class designed a ball launcher and tested it by shooting a tennis ball upward from top of a 15-story building. The height, h of t, so I guess that's important, of the ball after t seconds is represented by the function h of t minus 16x squared plus 144 t plus 160. So we're going to graph that using the interval from 0 to 10, or t. So t is going to be the same as x. All right, so I'm going to actually pause the recording so I can set up my grid, and then we'll be back in just a moment and you'll see everything all set up on your screen. Okay, we are back, and there's a lot of information, so let me go through everything quickly. First of all, you need to recognize that when they're talking about t, that's the same as our x. So our time goes across the x-axis, and it's time in seconds. Now, something that was missing in the details that I'm going to be telling you is that the height is measured in feet. Now, I could not actually do this part until I found out all my data, because I needed to know how far up this goes. If I were to incorrectly label my y-axis, this would be a mess. So what did I do? Well, now on your screen you can see a picture of the of my graphing calculator. I typed in my equation, then I went to second graph, which is the table, and you'll see all these values here. So I rewrote those over here and copied them down. That's how you show work. You don't say see graphing calculator, because whoever's grading it can't see your graphing calculator. So I copied it all. I also needed this point in between 4 and 5, 4.5, which is 484. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these points really quick. I'm going to pause the recording. When you come back, you're going to see what this looks like. Okay, so I started with the first point, 160, and then I did the best that I could to plot the remaining points. What I did is I actually did the first half going upwards. So let's see how I do connecting these. And then I basically copied the symmetrical points opposite of them. Notice I do not have arrows on either ends. That's because of this right here. This tells me I start at 0 for my t value and I end at 10. I don't go on to infinity. So this is what your graph should look like. This is how you show work. This is everything that you need, and you are in good shape. On to the next question. Okay, question 4. Using your graph from question number 3, answer the following questions. Describe the meaning of the y-intercept in terms of the context of the problem. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. The y-intercept is this very first point right here. Okay, so what does that mean? The y-intercept, which is 0, 160, is the initial, remember this from before, / starting value at 0 seconds. The ball starts at 160 feet. Oops. In other words, that's the top of the building. Remember, the original problem, they were starting with the ball launcher on top of the building. Okay, next, B, determine the greatest height the ball reaches. So if you look at your graph and you find that max point, actually I used my Desmos app. So now to do this, I had to zoom way out to be able to see that point. And then I zoomed way back in. All right. And, oh, you know what? I think I messed something up with this. Yeah, that's not right. Oh, should be a T there. That's why. Oh, there we go. That makes more sense. Okay, so this point right here, 4.5, 484. So the greatest height, spelling, is at 484 feet. That's the point 4.5, comma 484. And then C, how many total seconds is the ball in the air? That one's actually easy. If you go here, look at your time, 0 to 10. The ball is in the air for a total of 10 seconds. And that's the point 0, comma 10. Where the ball lands. Okay, that's it for question 4. Okay, question 5. Graph the parabola that represents the following key features. Okay, axis of symmetry is at -1. So I'm actually going to draw a line straight down there at x equals -1. Okay, so the domain is from -infinity to +infinity, so I'm going to have arrows at the end. The range, -infinity to +3. So this, the line where y is 3, is as high as it goes. Vertex, -1, 3. That's an easy one. Now remember, the vertex intercepts, or I should say the axis of symmetry intercepts the parabola at the vertex. X-intercepts -3, 0. So 1, 2, or 1, 2. Make sure you start at the origin when you're plotting your points. And 1, 0. Okay. And then the y-intercept is at 0, 2. So the only additional point I need to add is this one here. And that is essentially the point opposite of our y-intercept. And now I can connect my points, making my little concave downward parabola. Again, because, oh, that's terrible. Because it says the domain is from -infinity is less than x, which is less than +infinity, I must have arrows on the end. If you don't, you're going to lose points. But it is really that simple. And on to the last question, question 6. The length of a rectangular garden is 4 meters, more than twice its width. 4 meters more than twice its width. That's very important. The area of the garden is 30 square meters. Find the dimensions of the garden. Okay, so we're looking for the dimensions. Only an algebraic solution will receive full credit. In other words, some of you might be able to just think about what the correct answer is. I'm going to set this up. So I'm going to pause the recording. When we come back, there'll be some information and then we'll solve it together. Okay, we are back. So I set this up by drawing a rectangle. I did my let statement so we know what the width and the length are. Since the length is described as 4 more than twice its width, I did 2w twice plus 4. Over here in green, I have this set up because these are my dimensions. When I'm done, I need to have an answer for both of these. Here's my picture, my area in the middle, my sides are labeled. Here's my formula for area of a rectangle. A equals L times W. All right, I'm going to pause the recording and then write out the next step. Okay, so I substituted into my formula. And then I did my first step where I distributed the W. Now I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides so that I can get it equal to 0. Remember, 0 property, 0 product property, okay? 30 is not a like term to any of these. Now, I can actually factor out a 2 here. You can divide the 0 by 2, but that's just 0. Okay, again, I got to pause the recording and then I'm going to set this up for the final solution. Okay, I got to be quick. All right, so I got to this point, I factored. I get 2 answers, W equals -3, W equals, or -5 and W equals 3. I cannot take the negative, so I take the positive. Now, that's my width. My length is going to be twice that plus 4, which is 6 plus 4, which is 10. And there is my final answer.